They thought she was just the tech. That's all she had ever been introduced as our systems analyst, specialist, and backup comms. She wore glasses when she wasn't in the field, her frame slight compared to the muscle-packed operators she worked with. She moved softly, often lost in her screens, her laptop always cradled under her arm like a shield, in a unit where men had run hundreds of miles with 50-pound packs, where scars were as common as tattoos. She was the odd one out. They respected her brains. Sure, she could break into a foreign comms net faster than most could lace their boots. She could ghost drones through contested airspace, feed live intel directly into helmets, and shut down enemy surveillance before it even blinked. But beyond that, she was the tech girl, the safe one, the one you didn't hand a rifle to unless you needed her to hold it while you tied your boots. Her name was Sergeant Mia Cade. The mission was supposed to be straightforward: insertion into a contested valley, retrieval of a package, their word for a defector scientist, then extraction before dawn. The valley was crawling with hostiles, but the unit was among the best the Special Forces had to offer. They'd done this a dozen times before. They knew how to move, how to fight, how to win. Mia rode in silence in the helicopter, headset pressed to her ears as she coordinated satellite feeds. The others barely noticed her. She wasn't part of their jokes, their tense laughter before the drop. She existed on the edge of their world, essential but apart. When they landed, she moved with them, weighed down more by her gear than her body could comfortably handle. They expected her to lag, and she did, but only slightly. She had learned how to keep up, learned to breathe past the burn in her legs. She didn't complain. She never did. The night was cold, the stars distant pinpricks above. Their boots whispered across rocky terrain as they descended into the valley. Halfway to the objective, everything went wrong. The ambush hit them hard and sudden, rifle fire crackling from the ridges, tracer rounds cutting red lines through the dark. The men moved instantly, taking cover, barking clipped commands. The unit's sniper set up, their heavy gunner unleashed suppression fire, and Mia was dragged behind a slab of stone by one of the operators who muttered, "Stay down, tech." But the firefight wasn't simple. The enemy knew exactly where they were, numbers overwhelming, positioning near perfect. It was a trap. Mia's fingers flew over her tablet, trying to hijack local comms, trying to feed locations back into her team's helmets. But something gnawed at her gut. They weren't just outnumbered, they were pinned so well it felt like someone on the inside had betrayed them. She risked a glance around the rock. The ridgeline was dotted with muzzle flashes, and she tracked one in particular, a glint, steady, far off, a sniper. Their sniper was good, but the other side had someone better, someone who had already clipped two of her teammates, grazing hits that had bloodied arms and shredded armor. The commander's voice snapped over comms, "We need that shooter neutralized." Their own sniper shifted position, tried to line up a counter shot, but every time he peeked, rounds cracked within inches of his head. Whoever was up there had him locked in a duel he couldn't win. Mia felt her chest tighten. She knew that ridge. She'd studied it in satellite overlays, the angles, the sightline, as if they were all in her head. And something else burned inside her, something none of them knew. She wasn't just a tech. Years before the army plucked her for her cyber skills, she had grown up in Montana. Her father had been a hunter, her grandfather before him. Rifles weren't foreign to her. She'd grown up with her cheek pressed to wood stocks, breath steady against cold air, eyes sharp through scopes. Shooting wasn't just practice, it was part of her blood. But no one here knew that. She had never spoken of it, never showed it. When the army asked her where she wanted to specialize, she chose cyber systems. She had been underestimated ever since. Now, crouched behind stone as her unit fought for survival, her heart hammered not from fear but from decision. "Snipers locking us down, we can't move," someone shouted. Their commander cursed. Their own sniper whispered, "I can't get him. He's got me dialed in. Any move, I'm dead." Mia reached slowly for the rifle slung across her back. It wasn't hers. Not really, just the standard issue carbine they insisted even she carry. But what she needed wasn't that. Her eyes darted to the sniper's pack, lying just feet away, his backup rifle protruding. She crawled low, dirt grinding into her palms, bullets cracking above. She grabbed it. The weight was familiar. Her hands moved with memory. not hesitation. She flipped the bipod, slid prone, and pressed her cheek to the stock. The others were too busy fighting to notice at first. But when one of them turned and saw her behind the scope, his voice cut sharp. "What the hell are you doing?" "That's Noda." "Quiet," she whispered. Her breath slowed, her world narrowed. Through the scope, she found the glint again of the enemy sniper, half hidden in rocks nearly a kilometer away. Most would struggle to even see him, but to her, he might as well have been standing in sunlight. Wind, distance, angle, all of it flickered through her head as naturally as typing code. She adjusted 2 clicks left, exhaled, her fingers squeezed. The crack of the shot cut through the chaos. Silence followed. Not silence of the battlefield, there were still gunshots, still shouts, but silence in her unit. They froze, every man turning toward her. Through her scope, she saw the enemy sniper slump, head snapping back, weapon sliding from lifeless hands. One shot, clean, final. She rolled back, reloaded without thought, scanning again. Another glint, another shooter trying to reposition. She fired again. Another body dropped. The battlefield shifted. Suddenly, the enemy's pressure cracked, their coordinated fire losing its anchor. Her unit surged forward, emboldened. She fired twice more, each shot deliberate, each target collapsing before they could fire again. When the ridge finally went dark, when the gunfire thinned to scattered resistance, her commander stared at her like he'd never seen her before. The sniper, the man whose rifle she had borrowed, just muttered, "Jesus Christ." Mia said nothing. She simply retracted the bipod, handed the rifle back, and returned to her tablet, feeding intel again as if nothing had happened. But nothing was the same. They moved on, cleared the compound, secured the defector. The mission pressed forward, but the air around her had changed. Every glance her way was different now, and no longer dismissive, no longer overlooking her. There was awe, respect, and something sharper, the recognition that she wasn't what they thought she was. On extraction, when the helicopter blades roared and the unit climbed aboard, she sat quietly, helmet off, hair damp with sweat. Across from her, the commander leaned forward. "You never told us you could shoot like that." Mia looked up, her face unreadable. "You never asked." No one laughed, no one joked. The silence wasn't uncomfortably, it was reverent. Back at base, the story spread before she even had a chance to breathe. Operators who had never spoken to her before slapped her shoulder. The sniper himself sought her out, not with jealousy but with something like respect that only one marksman gives another. And though she returned to her screens, her wires, her codes, the unit never saw her the same way again. They had thought she was just the tech, but one shot had left them all frozen, and none of them would forget it.